The ninth section is titled Of the Effects of Other Relations and Other Habits. We have discussed many convincing arguments regarding the experiential causes of our beliefs, but Hume will continue analyzing the matter for more evidence and illustration of these fundamental principles. We know that cause and effect impel our imagination to move from one idea to another. Resemblance and contiguity do the same. These are the associating principles of thought. One impression evokes the idea connected with it, and because the idea is evoked by a sense impression, it is called up with additional force and vigor. Now, some may object that our reasoning does not result from relations of contiguity and resemblance, but rather only from cause and effect. Hume addresses this objection by explaining that contiguity and resemblance only serve to enhance causal relations. He has us consider how poets may call to mind vivid images of fictional regions by first receiving impressions of similar places. Thus, not only does contiguity and resemblance enhance inferences to real objects, these relations as well increase the force of inferred fictional ideas as well. So, contiguity and resemblance influence our imagination's inferential operations in this way. But consider when there is no relation of causal necessity between the impression and the evoked idea. In these cases, when there are just relations of resemblance and contiguity, their influence on the imagination is feeble and uncertain. Only causal relations can compel us to believe in something's reality. If we want the same force of persuasion for such other relations as contiguity and resemblance, the ideas need also have causal necessity. As the relation of cause and effect is requisite to persuade us of any real existence, so is this persuasion requisite to give force to these other relations. For when there is only a weak association between ideas, they do not force themselves upon us with vibrancy, and they also could appear in any variety of variations. So after a while, we come less to believe in these weaker associations. Now, this 10th section is titled Of the Influence of Belief. And Hume says that for an idea to move our passions, it must be intensely vivid. For it to be so, we must believe it. Hence, belief is absolutely necessary for exciting our passions. We just discussed belief's influence on our passions. We turn now to its influence on our imagination. We talk and we take pleasure in our discourse, but it is only pleasurable when our judgment assents to the images presented to our imagination. But poets make up things, so in order to sway our minds, they must at least give us the impression that they speak the truth. That poets invoke ideas in our minds, but these ideas might not influence our will or passions. Nonetheless, for them to be enjoyable to our minds, they must be mixed with truth and reality. Otherwise, they would not register in our imaginations. So, in the arts, the sole role of truth is to procure an easy reception for the ideas and to make the mind acquiesce in them with satisfaction, or at least without reluctance. We also noted before that causally related ideas also have this solidity and force. Hume's system then explains all of belief's influences on the imagination. So artists do not always need truth to impress our imaginations. They may allude to ideas that already have force in our minds. Thus, poets often evoke the names of gods, and tragedians borrow their stories and characters from well-known historical events or folk fables. These accounts already evoke in our minds ideas that we have often imagined.